Hello, my loyal subjects. I'm back again here with the Arcana. Ignore any background noise. I'm recording downstairs today because my whole family's out of the house. So, my kitty, my cat, whatever, Kona, he is running around like crazy, like he always does. And the other animals seem to be behaving. As I say that, Penny just moves and lets out a small grumble. But yeah, you're probably gonna hear a bell and running. Oh, you might not though. I don't know. So anyway, these are my postcards from Azra, as always. Don't know if I've gotten any new ones lately. But, last time we got interrupted. But since I'm home alone, I shouldn't get interrupted this time. This is the one I got today. I don't know, like, I got 2 new Nadia ones. I just don't know which ones. Oh, it's this one. I am commissioning a new luxury ship, and I find myself at a loss for a name. What about the Jessica? It just sounds so weird. I would not want that. Then we have cute little Julian. I love his font. It's just so great. Because, like, the other 2 are kind of elegant and sweet, and then his just looks, it's like in all caps. Written very heavily. Hey, but at least it's better than my handwriting. Oh, we also have a cuckoo clock. That's great too. Okay, let's get on with the story. Oh, they also introduced a new thing. It's called Tales or whatever, but I'm not to that point. Should I reread this? Sure, why not? The leftward hall leads me into a balmy veranda, bathed in starlight. Below I see the gardens, shady and lush. My voice is so messed up. From high up, I can see that the middle forms a maze of greenery. At its center, there is a clearing. I know at once where to go. Silently, I descend to the gardened path. The gardened? What the heck? Silently, I descend to the garden path, shrouded in a warm breeze. Quieting my thoughts, I listen to the night birds and let my intuition lead me through the maze. As I near the center, the musical sound of falling water grows louder and louder. I reach a fountain. Around it is a wide gazing pool, and overhead is a rich old willow tree. Hanging from the tree... Faust! Though she nearly gave me a heart attack, I cannot find it in me to be angry with her. And if she's here, there's probably a very good reason. She flicks her tongue, hovering over the gazing pool. I cannot take this seriously with Kona just running back and forth. I don't even know why he's doing that. The gleam in her eyes says that she wants to show me something. I take a seat on the edge of the pool and lean over to peer into the reflective water below. The thing is, I should probably read louder, but if I read louder, that's just gonna make my throat all weird. The longer I concentrate on the shapes in the water, the more they change. Colors too faint to see start to deepen, shadows start to twist and form. Before I know it, my reflection is fading away, and in its place, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the Azra voice. I see Azra, drawing water to his face and drinking deeply. Each drop that trickles from his hand sends ripples through his image as it strikes the surface. I'm so shocked to see him that I can only gape silently, afraid that any sound will break the spell. Oh my gosh! Kona just freaking sits next to me, like claws on the edge of the couch, his little tiger toy in his mouth. That scared me at first. He grabbed my phone. Then he shakes out his hair, blinks the water from his eyes, and looks straight at me. Jessica? Azra looks as surprised as I am. He leans forward close enough that I can see the droplets in his eyelashes. Can you hear me? I nod, barely able to believe it myself. If this is no spell of his, then how did I... Incredible! He laughs. I see now that he's sitting cross-legged, probably beside a pond. His mount, the strange beast from before, is lying beside him, resting its weighty head on his knee. Ah, there's Faust. Looks like she found you all right. I wasn't all that sure about leaving her, but after that reading you gave me, I thought I'd trust my intuition. I'm glad she's here. So you left her to spy on me. Yes, Nah, I'm glad she's here. I'm glad she's here. I glance up at Faust. Still hanging from the branch. She looks very proud of herself. Aw, she's so cute. Now that I'm over the shock of finding her, I'm beyond relieved to have her near. In the reflection, Azra looks pretty pleased with himself too. It makes me laugh. I'm glad you're here too. His face flushes and the beast on his knee gives a rumbling snort. Where is here exactly? Oh, he's blushing. I know that tree. Are you at the palace? Changing the subject. How typical. I tell him everything that's happened since we parted. The more I speak, the more his eyes glimmer with keen interest. Unbelievable. The day that I leave was the day you needed me the most. And even then, you didn't really need me at all. But I'm glad Faust is with you at least. I would guess that she had something to do with this. If anything happens to either of you, I'll know I can live with that. More importantly, your stomach has been gurgling. I hadn't noticed. I feel a flush creeping up my neck. That's so cute. He's so worried. You walked all day, didn't you? You have to eat. I know that. Turning away from my disciplinary tone, I ruffle through my bag. You know, I would say I'm surprised the Countess didn't feed you, but... Ah, isn't that your bread? I nod, uncovering the loaf from its linen wrappings. The smell hits me with a powerful ache. I start eating immediately, to Azra's obvious relief. The attention is a little embarrassing. I concentrate on chewing until the silence becomes unbearable. The bread guy said you were a rascal. Did he really? Well... The beast on Azra's knee groans, blinking awake and peering up into his face. Looks like we've rested long enough. We have to go, but... I'm really glad I got to see you. Aw, he's so cute. He rises and with one last glance moves out of my view. The lumbering beast shuffles behind him. My only warning is Sorry, he moved. My only I swear, this cat. My only warning is the roaring wind What the heck? Every time I think I can read the sentence right, Kona does something to distract me. Like he just jumped on the back of the couch. My only warning is the roaring wind before the image is enveloped in the storm of rust-covered sand. When it clears, the water is still, and I see myself reflected with Faust by my side. For a moment, I stare absently into the water. Then my stomach makes itself known. I waste no time digging into my bread, devouring it with reckless abandon. As I eat, my mind's eye revisits the image I saw in the water. That place. Where was he just now? It looked familiar. That copper sand, the creature beside him. I realized they're all the same as my dream. So it was a vision then. I had forgotten all about it. The stars must be aligned in some powerful way. But more than that. Master told me once that anyone can perform a magical act. Magic is what you do. Magic is what you do to make the outcome you desire become reality. So, was it my desire to see him? Did my magic reach out to him wherever he was? Or wherever he is? Or was it the other way around? Could it be both? Mind racing, I rise to my feet. Faust watches me attentively from the tree. I beckon her to follow. Getting to my room unnoticed is going to be a challenge. Steeling myself, I turn back towards the palace. As I go, I listen to the birds' echoing calls, and I feel the weight of eyes on my back. Many eyes. Why does... Ig. I'm seeing if my recording had stopped. Because I was like, maybe that's why it's making a notification. But nope, it's just Instagram. Many eyes from every corner of the garden. This place is teeming with life. Oh no. That snake has gotten much bigger. I need sleep. The rustling leaves sound too much like whispers. Hastening my step, I retreat up the stairs and slip back inside. The Emperor. Day. Freaking had to spray him so he'd leave the cords alone. I'm walking down the black stone path, whipped by wind and rust-colored sand. The thick, dark clouds hanging overhead are heavier than before. I'm dreaming again. Then, where is Azra? The unforgiving wind burns my eyes as I search the desolate landscape. Up there, ahead of me, too far ahead to reach, I see my teacher and the lumbering beast. Calling out is useless. I have no voice. But they are standing still, side by side, and as I look harder, I see that they have stopped at a fork in the road. One goes east, the other west. Azra dismounts the creature, placing a hand on its hide. A lingering look, and it turns down the path to see the east, disappearing in a tempestuous sea of sand. Azra turns to the path on the west, and I know at once he's going the wrong way. Not that way! Not again! Oh no. His head turns. Even from the uncrossable distance, I feel our eyes meet. Reach out to him or let him go? I have enough coins. I think I should reach out to him. With all my will, I drive myself forward to reach out, close enough to grasp hold of his hand. When he turns and sees me, his eyes are wide with wonder. Before everything around us dissolves and falls away. It's yesterday somehow. I'm sweeping up the mess of powdered bat milk when Azra wanders in from the back room. Jessica, wait till you see what the woods had to offer today. Mushrooms, fruit, roots, and flowers tumble out of his bag onto the linen laying over the countertop. He leans on his elbows, hands under his chin to watch me appraise the bounty with delight. Wow, so much! This is more than we need. Well, this time I thought it'd be better to have plenty. I don't want to leave you here without nothing to eat but pumpkin bread. I slow my appraisal with my hands occupied. Azra slips a goldberry into my mouth, and I chew slowly, tasting nothing. Leave me. That's right. This was the moment right before we packed his bag to go. I wanted to tell him then. Now, I can't remember why I didn't. I can't hold it in. I want to come with you. Azra blinks, drops his gaze, and sighs. Gentle hands come to either side my face as he looks deep into my eyes. I know. I wish I could take you. It's too risky. Of course. Wherever he goes, it's too far, too fast, too risky for me, but not for him. Then don't go or I'll risk it. Tricky, tricky, tricky. I say I'll risk it, because telling him not to go is kind of selfish. I lay my hand over Azra's, turning my face so my lips meet his palm. He goes still with surprise. I'll risk it. You will? Why? Are you that eager to put yourself in danger? You want to join me in the den of the baby-eating blood mountain beast? Slog through the crawling maze of tortura? Only to end up in quicksand pit of the bog of resistance? He doesn't get it. He blinks when I shake away his hand. Hands curling into fists by my side. I want to be with you. If you're going to Blood Mountain, that's where I want to be. You want to put yourself in danger to be with me? That's... freaking cat. Azra worries his lip in thought. He steps back, skating his hands down. Oh my gosh. Stop. He's like racing across the room. Azra worries his lip in thought. He steps back, skating his hands down my arms to join mine at my sides. Gonna freaking spray him again. You're really serious this time, huh? As if turning you down isn't hard enough already. It's even harder when we want the same thing. You don't want to be left behind, and I don't want to leave you, but... sometimes we can't have what we want. Even when it feels right. I'll bring back whatever you want, okay? Anything. What the heck? Freaking... stop being a turd. My brow furrows, and he squeezes my hand in apology. I don't want souvenirs. I want to be where he is. I thought he wanted the same. Setting my jaw, I grip his hands and look him dead in the eye. If I have to be the one to banish these doubts, I will. Do you want me, or I want you? I'm gonna ask him if he wants me. Do you want me? He chokes. I feel it radiating off of him in waves, as if he can't contain it. Yes. 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 I want you. I need you. I miss you so much. A tremor runs through his hands, and then he lowers his finger carefully. I can't read today. A tremor runs through his hands, and then his fingers carefully slide between mine as he lowers his gaze. I can't. If you only knew where I was going, what I need to find, I can... When he pulls back, he looks into my eyes with his... Oh, I freaking read that wrong. When he pulls back, he looks into my eyes with such clarity that everything else goes out of focus. You're more honest in dreams, huh? Dreams? The room pulses, colors shifting. A dream? Is that what this is? Of course, he's already gone. I won't get a chance like this until he returns. Just like I remember, Azra takes a flower, tucks it behind my ear before I can speak. I really can't wait to see you again. Aww, that's so sad. His voice reverberates through my consciousness, soft and full of promise. My mind grasps after the vestiges, I don't know, of the dream, but it's futile. It's already fading away. What the frick are you doing? I don't even know where he went. Sunlight tickles my face. I open my eyes with a groan. Morning, Jessica! I scramble backward in bed. For a moment, I have no idea where I am. And then I remember. The room is so fine. I could only be at the palace. Portia busies herself with the curtains while I get my bearings about me. What a lovely sunrise! Did you sleep well? I hope the dogs didn't wake you last night. Something set them off. They were causing a ruckus. Sniffing around the garden of all places. I was afraid we had an intruder. Wouldn't that just be exactly what we need right now? She laughs, oblivious to my shifty gaze. Well, I didn't find anyone. It's a good thing, too, because all I had on hand was a shovel. That could have gotten ugly. Oh my god, that would have been awful. Can you stop? Anyway, breakfast will be served short. Anyway, breakfast will be short. I can't English. Oh my gosh. Anyway, breakfast will be served shortly. I'll let you freshen up, then we'll head over. By the way, the Countess has requested that you bring your cards with you. I sit up at that, fully awake. These are for you. Portia sets a neat pile of clothes on the bed beside me. I unfold the top piece, marveling at the way the fabric moves. I hope you don't mind. I have explicit orders to make sure you're not wearing the same thing you were wearing last night. I blink, glancing over my old clothes. They might be looking a little worse for the wear. I'll give you some privacy. Portia ducks out the door. I move the silky garments aside and toss back my bed covers. Change into new clothes, wear old clothes. Why would you wear old clothes? They're all sweaty and dirty, and besides, you're in a palace. You have to change into the new ones. I disrobe and pull on my new outfit, fumbling with its delicate clasps and buttons. The fabric flutters around my limbs like a gentle breeze. It feels as though I'm wearing nothing at all. I retrieve my bag, peeking inside to make sure Faust isn't hiding there. No sign of her. Sighing, I pull the bag onto my shoulders and step out into the hall. Oh, don't you look nice? The Countess has a real eye for fashion. She'll definitely be pleased. I wonder what she would have said if I would have kept on my old clothes. She probably would have been so upset. Let's not keep her waiting, shall we? My chest swells with confidence. Fighting back a grin, I follow Portia to the dining room. The room is bright, far more welcoming than before. Servants are bustling to and fro. The Countess is already seated when I enter, and she appears to be nursing a headache, as usual. She spares me a brief glance from beneath the hand cradling her forehead. Good morning, Jessica. I trust you had a pleasant night's sleep. Well, I had an exceptionally miserable one. The dreams were vivid, enough to frighten me awake, and yet I cannot remember any of them. Really, Bailey? I'm going to repeat that. The dreams were vivid, enough to frighten me awake, and yet I cannot remember any of them. And then, of course, the dogs were feeling active. Hello, Portia. Coffee, my lady? Ugh, please. A nod, and Portia goes to a gleaming golden contraption nestled in the far corner. The Countess strokes her temples and lowers her hand from her face. The full force of her gaze falls upon me. Ah, you've changed. Is that the ensemble I sent down? The ensemble or ensemble? I don't know. My, the difference is astounding. One would hardly recognize you. The fit appears to be correct. Those garments you came with were most unkind to you. Under her shameless scrutiny, my face starts to prickle with heat. Who would have guessed you were so becoming underneath? Ah, and how nicely these colors complement your tones. I do have an impeccable eye, don't I, Portia? Impeccable. A sumptuous egg dish is placed before me, drawing my attention. Meanwhile, the blue-feathered servant from last night bustles to the Countess's side to report some going-ons. I drown out the chatter and focus on my meal, marveling at its delicate texture, and yet my eyes keep flickering up at the painting on the wall. Goat. It feels as though it's watching me.
I accidentally clicked on the screen. Good thing I knew what it said.
Well, you may tell them they have no choice in the matter.
Will that be all, Your Grace?
That will be all. Now then, Jessica.
The Countess' voice shakes me from my thoughts.
I understand that you have your cards with you.
Cautiously, I pull my satchel up from the floor and into my lap.
Splendid. Please, come closer.
The servants promptly relocate me to the seat at the Countess's side. This is the closest we've been since our first meeting. It makes me nervous to breathe. It almost makes me nervous to breathe.
First and foremost, in 13 days, we will be celebrating the Count's birthday. Preparations, as you know, are well underway, so I must ask you to be expectant in this. It's not my intention to rush you, but by the time the day is out, I will need to know whether you intend to cooperate with me. Unless, perchance, you have decided to do so already.
Should I say no or should I say yes? Well, if I say no, she's gonna get mad. If I say yes, will I be able to, like, go behind her back? And will Portia be mad at me? I'm gonna say yes, because words are just words.
Yes.
Okay, good. I chose the right thing. The Countess wary blossoms into a satisfied smile.
A wise choice. I am pleased to hear it.
If you serve me well, you have my utmost gratitude and, of course, a generous reward. I perk up at the mention of this reward. So much has happened, I'd forgotten all about it.
Ah, that eager face will be my undoing, and yours as well, if you do not learn to master it. Together we will make a fine team. Our forces combined are quite formidable. You and I, my guard, and those cards of yours.
Her gaze falls pointedly on my bag in my lap. I'm compelled to pull it closer to me. Instead, I retrieve the deck from its hiding spot and place it hesitantly on the table. The Countess's eyes flash with interest. She smiles, looking out the window with a musical sigh.
It is a glorious morning, a new day. I trust that my fortune will have changed. Read the cards for me again, Jessica. I would like to know what they have to share on the heels of the fortuitous news.
I start shuffling as usual. The feeling of my master's deck in my hands is a little unnerving. The cards leave a faint tingling sensation on my fingertips. Distracting, but familiar. It helps me empty my mind.
Really?
The Emperor.
And what does he say for me? I peer into the face of the card and I listen. You have proven your wisdom, your intelligence, your ability to rule. Your lessers no longer hesitate to bow before you. Where there was doubt, you have built trust. Where there was chaos, you have made order. When your will is done, this city will sing your praise to the stars and celebrate as it has never...
I read that wrong. I was doing so well.
When your will is done, the city will sing your praise...
Again.
When your will is done, the city will sing your... I cannot read. Okay. When your will is done, the city will sing your praise to the stars and celebrate as it never has before.
There is a collective fluttering, ohs and ahs. I hadn't realized the servants were watching. Their faces are radiant with delight. Portia has her hands clasped at her heart. Aw, that's cute! And yet, the Countess looks unimpressed. She lifts the card from the table and examines it with a neutral eye.
Well, that is very good of him to say.
Abruptly, she stands. The servants snap to attention.
Jessica, would you care to join me for a stroll? There is something I would like to show you.
Like a flower unfurling, She extends a graceful hand to me. It takes a moment for me to realize I'm meant to take it. Awkwardly, I place my hand in hers and she pulls me to my feet. Her cool touch slips away and she breezes past me. Come, I suspect you will be very glad you did. Hastily, I gather my cards and return them to my bag, slinging it onto my shoulder. Portia? Coming! I fall in step behind the Countess, and we exit to the hall. The Countess's steps are effortlessly swift. He's always messing with something. It takes some effort to keep her pace. I don't pay much attention to my surroundings until they start looking familiar. Our paths lead us past the marble... I have no idea what he's messing with. Our path leads us past the marble staircase. I find myself searching the stairs as we pass. No dogs this time, or perhaps they are curled up in the shadows, out of sight. The Countess noticed my shift in attention and smiles sweetly. If you are looking for the hounds, they will be having their morning meal about now. You seem to have a kinship with animals. In fact, Portia tells me you were rather enchanted with one of our security eels. I find them rather enchanting as well, though they are quite unhappy here. Their native climate is deep in the south, icy dark waters. I recall the way the creature under the bridge had twisted itself in the mud. Well then, here we are. The Countess comes to a halt. We've arrived before a panel in the wall, 3 by 4 times my height. It is crafted of smooth wood in all colors of rippling honey, carved with dizzying and intricacy. It's a great tree in the height of maturity. Its winding roots coil around each other and into the floor. Its leaves and fruit are inlaid with jewels, precious stones, and mother of pearl. The panel glitters and glows from every angle. I'm dazzled by its beauty, barely noticing that Portia is lagging behind us. I become aware of her presence when she comes to stand beside me. Nervousness is radiating from her in jittery waves. Portia, if you would be so kind. Of course. Portia retrieves a ring of keys from her pocket. There are about a dozen, each carved of the same wood as the panel, and each bearing a distinct jewel. One by one she finds their locks in the panel, though I wonder how. Their locations seem completely random. With each key, the roots of the tree start to unwind from each other, pulling free from the floor. When all the locks have been turned, the panel folds upon itself on either side like a paper fan. The room beyond is revealed, and my breath catches in my chest. Oh, it's so pretty. I suck in a breath, tasting greenery and golden pages. There are books everywhere, books winding up the walls, reaching for the ceiling. A library. Azra has told me tales about places like this. I've always wanted to see one for myself. Do you read, Jessica? I nod. The Countess tempers her surprise. Ah, somehow I suspected you might. I follow her further into the room, and the door closes itself behind us with rhythmic mechanical sound. Can't read very gracefully and smooth or whatever. Portia trails at our heels, fidgeting with the ring of keys. It is a great gift to read. Where I come from, it is shared amongst all citizens, regardless of birth. But woefully uncommon here. I suppose you were taught by a relative? Or your master, perhaps? Am I wrong? They say the two of you are very close. Milady is in a teasing mood this morning. Indeed, my headache is lifting. This way, if you please. There are books of all kinds, tall, crisp volumes on mathematics beside broad leather atlases of faraway lands. I had no idea so many books existed, each one with years, maybe lifetimes of wisdom to share. My fingers itch to run along their spines, but I resist. Books like these are worth more than anything I could afford to barter. You know, Jessica, you are my guest. If you should like to return here, you need only ask, but for the moment. The Countess stops before an alcove, nestled between the shelves. I would have your undivided attention here. Intrigued, I peer around the bookcase. Below a tiny window, cast in a slim ray of daylight, is a desk. It is stacked with books, journals and papers, scrolls tucked in nooks and drawers. Despite the clutter, everything is carefully organized. Someone's place of study, preserved in time. Jessica, do you know why Dr. Devereux came to the palace? I suppose you would. After all, your master was here for the same purpose. To conduct a cure for the disease.
What the heck? Get down from there.
Climbing on the guinea pig cage. My blood runs cold as she asked. I give the Countess my full attention. The disease, the Red Plague, as it was called, swept through the city like wildfire. It claimed young and old, frail and strong. There was no way to tell who would be the next to fall. Cases are rare now. I can't remember the last time I saw the telltale red in the whites of someone's eyes. As you know, the Count and I called upon the city to whomever might be of use in this quest. Physicians, scientists, alchemists, witches, yes, even fortune-tellers. All were invited to the palace in hopes that our resources may aid in their research. Whoever was to find a cure, the city and the palace both would be forever in their debt. Perhaps he was plotting even then, but the doctor accepted our invitation. I don't like the way she talks about him. As did your master, Azra. Her gaze shifts to the window. A strange shadow crosses her lovely sunlit face. Curious, I lean in such a way as to get a better view of the window. Odd. It is exactly the right spot to see the willow tree which hangs over the fountain in the garden below. While they toiled away in search of a cure, the palace provided everything they might need. The Countess rests her hand atop one of the many texts gathering dust. This desk belonged to the good doctor. I have had its contents examined laboriously. Nothing of consequence has been found. But with such volume of evidence, something may yet be hiding here. Something I may have overlooked. Perhaps you will have better luck than I in finding it. Her touch lingers on the cover of the well-worn tome. Well then, good luck, Jessica. She draws away, passing me and perfuming the air with jasmine. Portia follows, and once they've passed the threshold, the panels fold over and into their original shape. Ooh. I am left in silence, along with the doctor's desk. I can feel that the desk holds secrets, but where to start? At a glance, there is a stack of books, a leather-bound folio, and scrolls tucked away in a little row of drawers. I want to look at the scrolls. I unfurl one of the scrolls. The paper is soft, almost powdery to the touch. It is written in a hurried, fluid scrawl that is nearly impossible to read. Ha! My handwriting. At the bottom of the page, isolated from the dense swath of cursive, is a single letter. J. A signature? If it's signed at the bottom, my suspicions may be correct. The letter appears to be addressed at the top. I narrow my eyes at the scribbles of the page, trying to make sense of them. Dear sister? Once I have seen the words, I'm fairly sure of them. The letter is addressed, Dear Sister. A sister. Did he have one? As far as I knew, the doctor was a bachelor with no family to speak of. My mouth twists, uncertain what to make of this new information. I jolted a sudden ratcheting sound behind me. quickly rewinding the scroll and tucking it into my bag.
Jessica!
The back wall parts, unfolding to reveal Portia.
I hope I didn't startle you. There's something going on out by the garden.
Oh, I can only look at one thing? That's upsetting.
The Countess is requesting your presence at once. Did you find anything interesting? Clues?
I shake my head. Nothing I found has given me anything relevant for the Countess. Portia slides... No, that's not what that says. Portia sidles up next to me, scanning the desk with a curious eye.
Well, it will take a while to go through everything. You can try again later.
She surveys the desk, tidying everywhere I've touched and returning everything to its place.
I've got the keys, so you can find me the next time you want to have a look. But for now, let's go see what all this fuss is about.
Portia's pace is hurried, far from the spirited step I would normally expect. And she doesn't speak. The longer we walk in silence, the more anxious I become. The garden below is livelier in the day. A symphony of bird song echoes from every direction. I spy the Countess, looking out over the garden with her hands held sagely behind her back. Forgive me for drawing you away, Jessica. I did not wish to obstruct your investigation. It just so happens that I was thinking about the fortune that you gave me earlier. She turns to face me. Her expression is mysteriously neutral. Rumor would have it that I dislike fortune tellers. That is not entirely true. I only dislike those that profit by saying whatever they want to say, or by telling their clients whatever they want to hear. She fixes me with a look of gentle disappointment. My heart drops into my stomach. I want desperately to believe you are neither, Jessica. But if we are to succeed in our little venture, I must trust in your skill, and so I have devised a test, more of a game, really. If you win, then we can move forward with our plan, and I never need doubt your worth again. And if you lose, you will be free to go, and I shall trouble you no further. Now then, let us summon our competitors. Portia, would you kindly call the prey?
The prey? Oh! Oh, the outfits make sense now. Okay,
What? This makes me nervous. I shouldn't have put on that outfit. Portia goes to the edge of the balcony. She takes in a long breath and unleashes a piercing whistle. As I move to the balustrade? I don't know how to read that. The Countess follows at my shoulder, peering down into the garden. Gradually, two figures emerge from the shrubbery, shuffling with obvious reluctance. They are dressed head to toe in fanciful costume. One is a rabbit, the other a deer. The game is to hide and hunt, Jessica. You will be the hunter. These two will be your prey. You need not hesitate on their behalf. They have earned their place. You, down there. The costume figure jerked to attention. You may remove your masks for the moment. With cautious, awkward movements, the rabbit and deer unfasten their masks from their faces. I recognize them at once, the guards from the bridge. So this is their punishment. Milady, this is embarrassing. You are embarrassing. Oh! You are embarrassing. Have you forgotten how beastly you were to our guest? It is only fitting that you should be dressed as such. She's so cool. The guards drop to a humble kneel, cautious of their costumes. Yes, my lady. Content, the Countess turns to me, a sympathetic crease on her brow. I do hope it does not trouble you to chase them. They were most unfriendly to you, were they not? They were unfriendly, all right. They were only trying to protect you. I don't want to be rude, but at the same time, they were kind of mean. Well, yeah, they were only trying to protect you.
They were only trying to protect you.
Below, the guards lower their gaze. One is quite red in the face. A flash of anger ignites in the Countess's luminous eyes. No, they were only satisfying their rampant paranoia, not mine. Their lust for violence and intimidation is mortifying. I shall not excuse it. She's great. If possible, the guards shrink even further. I cannot help but to pity them. They were worried about you. If they were, they might have consulted with me instead. They continue to act as they please. However, if it is so distasteful to you, I suppose I could devise another punishment. No, my lady. No need for that. We're honored to do this. The costumes are very well crafted. Indeed. Fortune that my husband had enthusiasm for the arts. Mask yourselves, then. We shall continue as planned. If there are no further objections, I shall explain the purpose of our game. This morning at breakfast I found myself considering the task before us. We seek to find one man in the city of thousands, a city where gossip moves more swiftly than we possibly could. Daunting but not impossible, fate has already drawn him back into town for us. But for what purpose and for how long? Our window of opportunity may be quite slim. I came to the conclusion that we must not pursue him without knowing exactly where to look. Easier said than done, of course. The doctor's desk may very well hold the key, but how long before we find it? And then I thought, perhaps we might use what we have in another way. Perhaps we might use magic. Her gaze rested upon me, gauging my reaction. That took a while. Is it not possible that something in the desk holds meaning to the doctor? The letter. Something dear to him, an attachment that might linger to this day. Even a single leaf of paper may possess a tether to his soul, so that a magician need only follow it. And if that is indeed possible, is your magic refined enough to do it? I bite my lip. Given what I found in the desk so far, it is very possible. But my magic has never been used for anything like that. I would be flying blind. If you have never done such a thing before, worry not. You are about to do just that. Each of your prey will be trying to invade you, moving targets, as well as the doctor will be. They will hide wherever they please. Your goal is to hunt one of them down. One of them, to whom I have given a single leaf of paper. Your Emperor card. My heart stutters, and my eyes go wide. The Countess returns my stare with patient, shameless smile. She couldn't have... When did she... This morning at the reading. She took the card from the table to examine it, and never gave it back. This is no bluff. She has really given one of them my Emperor card. Not mine, but Azra's. I feel a hot flush of panic course through my veins. I may not understand it, but his deck is uncommonly powerful. To lose one of the so-called major arcana